and you can drop in the chat. We'll be expecting more people to come on shortly, but of course, just wanted to say good morning and welcome. Welcome to Free Coaching Friday. And we have a very big year coming up. We're very excited for what we're going to do. Yeah, good morning, Elise. And, of course, if you have a question or love some coaching, just raise your hand, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I want to introduce the trainer today, Mr. Ray Higdon.
Awesome. Ooh. Let me unmute. All right. What's up? Thank you, Thomas. Happy New Year, my friend. Yes. All right. Awesome. How y'all doing? I figured we'd have a tight audience here today. So that's always no problem with that. But welcome. And if you're watching on live stream, we just went live. So if you want to join us, you can at higdongroup.com/free coaching. higdongroup.com/free coaching. Okay. And then before we get started, I do want to do one quick thing. So I'm seeing all the pictures on social media, all the busting out of 2025, all the big bold, things that people are claiming and everything. And and so one suggestion for you is you have to make tough decisions for you to grow. And if you want to start off 2026 differently, then I would suggest that you take a look, at least take a look at it and consider joining our Lifer program. Now, our Lifer program comes with over $5,000 worth of bonuses, and it's trainings from absolute legends. I think fairly certain I can say this, all of which have made over $10 million. And from Donna Johnson to Todd Falcone, Brian Carruthers, my YouTube rock star friend Cap Chatfield, and we've taken these trainings and put them into a sort of academy for you. So if you are someone that struggles with what to do, what to say, how to get to the next level, the Lifer program will help you with that. And two other things. Number one, we do Lifer only group coaching every single month. That is for Lifers only. And number two, next Friday, after Free Coaching Friday, I'm going to do a goal crushing and vision webinar. And I'm going to share all of the stuff that I've learned around just making sure you hit your goals, setting your mind up for success. And that is going to be for Lifers only. That's noon Eastern next week. And so if you've yet to join our Lifer program, you may want to check it out. It's a really good time to do that. And so it is just I'll post it here in the comments. It's higdongroup.com/Lifer. And this is a chance for you to step it up. And so let me just drop it in here. What's up, everyone? So it's higdongroup.com/Lifer. higdongroup.com/Lifer. You want to start 2026 off right. Again, if you struggle with what to say, what to do, how to grow, if you've been stuck, this is the program that we suggest. And we'll help you the whole time. We've been doing this for 7 years now. We've helped a lot of people with it, and we'd love to help you too. All right. So that is my advice for 2026. And let's jump in. Let's go ahead and get started. So some of you are already trained, so you've already raised your hand. Very good. So let's go to Henry. What's up? What do we got?
Hey, man, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Quick question. Like on social media, I'm doing a lot of videos, and my targeting audience among like business owners, especially how I talk about my experience, how I used to get like a lot of jobs like a contractor. I don't know because I've done, like you suggested, to like give out something for free. and I did it's like an ebook, but it's like a 1-page of how to overcome the 5 common objections in construction. And how do I give that and then have that, but give my opportunity? How do I add that? How to fill my opportunity with when I give out the free ebook?
Yeah. So everyone follow what he's saying? He's saying that he's developed a free giveaway and it helps the problem of who he's targeting and how does he include, but what he really wants is to get them to join his home business, correct? Okay. So the mistake that people make is they focus on consumable upsells. Consumable upsells. Okay. The problem is most people that reach out for your free thing aren't even going to read it. That's the problem. And then those who do read it, an extremely infinitesimal amount of them will pay any attention to the call to action, right? They'll just, those who do read it, which is very small, will look over it. And, one example is I remember when, my friend, some of you know, Russell Brunson, many, many years ago, they created this, DVD of all these great internet marketing things and they sold it. Okay. They sold it for, I think, $27. They sell 3,000 copies. Okay. And this lady reaches out to him and says, "Hey, there's nothing on my copy." And they're like, "Oh," and they kind of troubleshot it a little bit. "Did you, press play? And it was right. Yeah. Okay. Is it upside down?" All right. They troubleshot it and they're like, "Okay, well, we'll just send you out another one." And so they send her another one. She calls back. "There's nothing on this one either." And they're like, "What the heck?" Well, turns out they had sold all 3,000 and all 3,000 were blank. She's just the only one that tried to watch it. And so we can't rely on consumption upsells. So those of you who are doing here's your 5 best tips to whatever, and then at the bottom you have a PS, ask me about my home business or something, it ain't working. It's not working. So what you do instead, and I came up with this, I don't know, 10, 12 years, because I was tired of people. I was tired of seeing people work so hard for so few sales. And I'd seen so many people doing so many videos and running really hard and doing all these calls to actions and all these things, but they just weren't making sales. And so we were just kind of tired of seeing that. And so I'm like, okay, do a CTA delay. So your point of the giveaway is not consumption, but to get people to reach out. So when someone reaches out, so let's say someone messages you, Henry, and say, "Hey, bro, I saw your video. I'd like the 5 tips, bada bing, bada boom." And instead of saying, "Here you go," which they probably won't read anyway, because people get a dopamine hit. Now, how many have ever noticed that when you do a call to action on social media and say, "Hey, drop whatever, catapult," right? "Drop caterpillar, drop something," right? "Drop something if you want my blah, blah, blah." You drop it and then they never do anything, right? Because there's a little bit of a dopamine hit of taking this little tiny action, but you can convert that tiny action into actual sales by doing the CTA delay. So CTA stands for call to action. Okay. So CTA delay would be someone reaches out to you, Henry. They say, "Hey, yo, bro, give me those 5 tips, bro." And you say, "Hey, more than happy to send it to you when I'm in front of my computer or when I'm back home. I'm just curious, what is it that you do in construction? Like, where do you see this helping you?" And you connect. And so the overriding principle, whether you're using call to actions or giveaways or anything, is generate a lead, connect with a lead, determine the need. So my first connection isn't, "Hey, I'll give you the giveaway," or, "Hey, I'll send you the giveaway when I'm back home. In the meantime, check this out." No. Connection, right? And so it's I want to hear them say something. "Tell me about your journey. How long have you been in construction? How long have you been a realtor? What kind of real estate do you do? How long have you been a stay-at-home mom? How long have you wanted to homestead? How long have you been trying to lose weight? I want to get some ammunition, because more ammunition increases my chances of closing. Me just hoping that they not only consume, but take the action from the CTA in the consumable giveaway, very unlikely. And so you want to, when someone raises their hand, CTA delay, right? You still send it to them, but you just say, hey, I'm happy to send you those 5 tips or whatever when I'm back home. But in the meantime, tell me a little bit about your journey. How long have you been trying to do construction? Whatever. I think you get the point. So you're looking to connect with them, listening ears, listen to them, and then transition. In the second, sometimes the third response is when you'll actually bring up your thing you're hoping they'll take a look at.
Okay.
Helpful?
Yeah, I'm gonna start.
So you always, and just to kind of take it a level up, a higher granular level, is we always want to look at where's our bottleneck, where's our inefficiency. So I've had marketers and leaders hire me they're like, hey, I want you to help me make my lead capture page more converting. I'm like, okay, what's it converting at? And they don't even know. And I'm like, well, how many people opt in? And so we look, and 60% of people that hit that page opt in. Okay, you don't need to fix that. You may need to fix traffic. You may need to fix conversion after they, become a lead. There's other things, but we want to figure out our metrics and figure out where is it, right? Because if we have an amazing page but no traffic, then we need traffic. We need more leads. We need more people. If we're getting a high percentage of leads come through and we're getting good traffic but no one's buying anything, then okay, that process is broken. Let's fix it.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff. I will say, I know you're on here every single week, and every week I feel like your questions get a little bit better, and so it's just cool to watch you grow, man.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Happy New Year. Give it up for Henry. Way to go, Henry. All right. We're going to go to Ra. What's happening?
Greg.
Hey.
I had a question about how does one develop their own sense of belief around their own leadership?
So I'm led to share this story. So back in, it was probably 2020, I was just struggling with some things, and I was noticing some things about me, and I noticed that when I just really believe all of our breakthroughs are just to equip us to help people. That's just what I believe. And so I noticed that when I was around people of success, and at the time, 2020, I was, had generated over $30 million, had been a number one income earner, had spoken on major stages all over the world, had whatever, fill in the blank, right? Some, pretty good stuff. But when I was around successful people that, made more than me or whatever I was viewing success back then, I didn't feel comfortable. I felt kind of weird. And so I had a coach back then, and I was kind of bringing it up to him. And so he walked me through an interesting exercise, and had me imagine going to my 8-year-old self and telling my 8-year-old self all the things that I've accomplished and all the things that were true in my life, right? So I'm imagining my life, talking to my 8-year-old self, and I'm saying, you're going to have an amazing family. You're going to make tens of millions of dollars. You're going to be a best-selling author. You're going to have a 6,000 square foot house on the lake. You're going to have this. You're going to have that. All things that were true. And you're going to have a loving wife and beautiful kids, all that. And so he asked me, he says, so how'd that go? How'd you feel from that? And I said, he didn't believe me. Okay. So what that exercise actually is it's a subconscious kind of hack. Because when we think about when we do that type of exercise, it's like speaking to our subconscious. And the truth is, I didn't believe my success. So I would say things and looking, so when he gave me that insight, I kind of started thinking about it. And I would say things like, yeah, it's unbelievable that I got my wife and, she's amazing. And I would explain things. I would use terms like unbelievable. I would use terms like, I would just use terms. And the truth is there was a major part of me that literally didn't believe my success. It was real. I was in the house. I had the family. I had the money. I had the. And so one of my so that would be a good exercise, right? One good exercise is to write down what you have, not what you want, not 2026 deals, right? Or what we're gonna rock and roll. Everyone's talking big, January, first week of January, everyone's flexing. Let's see you in February and March, right? And so take what you've actually done and go back, right? And go tell that young girl, 8 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, whatever, probably 8's probably the better age, and say, hey, sweetie, you're going to accomplish this, and see your reaction, see if you have something similar happen, and then from there, I would just start to step into your existing reality and learn to receive. I posted something, today about multiple times in my life, I have defaulted to things have to be hard. And I've struggled to receive. And so, this I know that anything I go through is an equipping to go and help other people with. And so we've helped people, do that. And it usually takes a little bit more than, Free Coaching Friday, but, like usually there's a little bit of time we need to spend together, but I would at least, try that exercise and learn to not reject what other people are telling you, because you probably have had people tell you that you're really good at what you do, or, oh my goodness, you've really helped me. You've probably had that. And for most of my life, I rejected that stuff. I would have people come up to me and be like, you changed my life. I'm like, oh, okay, great. How can I help you? And I just wouldn't, I knew enough not to make them feel bad by just flat out rejecting it. I would just surface accept it, but I wouldn't really. Because for me, it was, I must earn it every day. Doesn't matter what I've done the rest of my life or who I actually am. And so this is most people see their identity as, what have I done? What am I doing? What have I accomplished today? And so that just, the apple tree doesn't say, who am I today? Did I produce an apple? No, it knows it's an apple tree, right? And so you are a child of God. You're worthy of great things. He loves you, loves you, loves you. And so we want to learn to, step into that. And because of some of our past, there's different things that can prevent that. And we've, helped people with that, but I would start with that exercise.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
You got it. Rooting for you. Okay. Elise, what's happening? It's been a while. Good to see you. Hey, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So my question is, since we're starting off as a new year, what's one simple habit you see long-term earners doing that most people overlook, other than consistency and follow-up?
I mean, you're taking out two really big ones there, consistency and follow-up. So here's what I look at, I have a unique perspective, right? It's I'm not tied to any company. I get to see people in all kinds of different, some launch, some through because they never learned to deal with entitled and demanding reps, get out of the industry and build their own brand, and think that that's easier. And for some it is, whatever. But I get this, just interesting view. We've worked with a lot of leaders across different companies, from 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure leaders, and I would say the ones that can, and this is me included, the ones that consistently grow and rise above. I don't know if I know an exception. I'm not. I'd have to really think about this. And not that I know everyone's story, but I would say those who continuously challenge themselves to transform by making uncomfortable decisions, and by pivoting when they need to, by consistently investing in themselves. I've been able to coach. I mean, over the years we've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I mean, I don't know exactly, but probably over 600, 700 maybe people in our different masterminds. And I see some, they invest in themselves and show up, and some don't. Those who I see grow and transform and become something they weren't previously is those that are just constantly, okay, who can I get around that's going to challenge me? Who can I get around that's going to lift me up? Who's going to do it? And that you ruled out consistency and follow up, right? Those are two very, very key things. And I'll give you an example of, I think, just to touch on that. But when it comes to consistency without addiction to fast result, that's a major key. Like I decided. So one, I've been flexible here in this last thing of just in prayer and okay, who exactly is it that I'm supposed to be helping? Because kind of built up a interesting set of skills for a lot of different types of people. And, I found that if I look at who I've, really helped, I love helping leaders create high performing teams while reducing their frustration. I love helping leaders create I love performance, but not just that, but also freedom. And a lot of these leaders, the reason they don't reach that next level is they never learn to have the tough conversations with themselves or with their demanding, entitled reps that they have. So most people have, 1 or 2 reps that drive them up a wall, and they can't help it. They draw the conclusion that, well, if I double my team, I'm going to have double the pains in the butt too. And so they burn out. They go do something else, and they don't reach their potential. And so, having tough conversations consistently, investing in themselves consistently, getting around people that are going to challenge them, not tell them what they want to hear, but tell them what they need to hear. Like those are some of the traits I would say outside of consistency and follow up. But one example I was going to use is, I think it's been maybe a month now that I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to start creating a lot more content. And also, by the way, it's not going to be hard. And so I do not want to stay in a video studio filming all day, every day. That would drive me absolutely crazy. I do not want to do that. And so I'm like, I'm going to figure out a way to do it to where I like it, but I can also produce a lot. And so
And I love your B-rolls, by the way.
that's
I love it because it's duplicated.
oh, it's so damn easy. It's crazy. And now with the trial rolls, so here's what I've been doing for probably a month now, I would think. I've been doing 10 reels a day on Instagram, and I've now got it whittled down to about 20 minutes. And maybe 25, not 30. And so now in the beginning, it wasn't that way, but now it is. And so I use a lot of B-roll, and they're typically 7 seconds, 8 seconds maybe. It's not me talking to camera, because for whatever reason, I found that just does not get me what I want. 6 to trial reels, 4 to my standard reels. So now I have all these trial reels. I know not everyone has trial reels, but I have who knows how many, because I've been doing 6 a day. So now I have all these trial reels, and I get to see what worked. Trial reels only go to non-followers. But I didn't care. I didn't care what the numbers were. I didn't care at all. And when I first started this, the numbers weren't there. I wasn't seeing an increase. In fact, it was, less than what I was getting. But now I have, it looks to me, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Okay, 28. 28 times 3, that'd be 14 times 6, 7 times 12. I don't know what that number is, but well over 100. So now I have well over 100 trial reels just sitting there. Okay, they're just sitting there. And now I can just pick on days I don't want to even do new ones. I can get this done in 10 minutes by just picking the ones that did well and managing them and pushing them there. But what's the trait? So I'm not saying all top earners do that. That's not what I'm saying. But being willing to try something without an addiction to the result for an extended period of time. When I first started this, I was getting less views. And now I'm getting a hell of a lot more views. I'm getting tens of thousands of views. Tens and tens of thousands of views in one way or another every single day. And so in the process, I dialed it in. So now I can take any B-roll on the planet and convert it into my target market, which is helping sales leaders build high performance teams without burning themselves out. But it was that process. Are you willing to go consistently do something without the addiction to the results and be willing to tweak it to, to make it into the perfect thing? So I hope that helps. I don't know if
I
it
like that.
Okay. Awesome.
I will have to go look up what a trial is. I've not heard of that.
Yeah. So on Instagram, they have this new feature, which if you have it, this is just, here's free money for you. Here you go. Enjoy this free money. You publish, when you go to publish a reel, some, maybe not all, I don't know if every country, I don't know the deal. I just know I have access to it. I know other people have access to it. You have the option of making it a trial reel, and it will only show to non-followers. So it doesn't actually go to my grid. So the 6 that I do a day are just like kind of Hail Mary passes, like, hey, let's see how these do. No penalty, no big deal, right? And so then I go back and I look at the ones that have 5,000 or more views, and those I'm like, all right, right? So all day today, all I'm doing is hitting 2 buttons to make my trial reel on my grid. And so I post at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 9 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m. noon, 2 p.m., 4 p.m., 6 p.m., 8 p.m. Right? Did I miss one? 6, 7. 6. See, all right, parents, let me talk to you. If you want your kids to stop doing 6, 7, we just need to overdo it. Make it uncool. Right? So I'm always like 6, 7, and my she's now at the point where at first it was like, yeah, and now she's like, right? And I'm like, yes. So I'm killing it by overdoing it. And so let's see, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 11, noon, 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, I'm doing 9 a day. I thought I was doing 10. 9 a day. So I'm doing 9 reels a day. And some of them get a couple hundred views. Some of them get 10,000 views. And so I don't care. I'm pumping out this content because resistance is futile. I will get every sales leader that wants to build a high performance team that struggles with demanding reps. Resistance is futile. 10 reels a day, that's going to happen. There's no over time. I'm a consistent guy. I can do this for years. There is no sales leader that has demanding reps that actually wants more performance and less frustration that is going to escape my grip. They don't exist because I'm just going to pound that message over and over and over. And so every single one of my reels has the same message on it. I mean, they're different words, right? I'll mix in a slide analogy or a bubble analogy or a kid analogy, a piano analogy, a tuna fish analogy. I'll mix in all these different examples, but it's the same message, and I'm pounding it over and over and over. The problem is most people, they realize that, oh, when I post a picture of my cat, I get more engagement. So let me do that from time to time. Okay, post a picture of the cat, but relate it to who you're trying to solve, right? Hey, you ever want to get frisky with your diet? Let me give you 3 tips, right? Like learn to take any content and translate it to the person you're posting, and you can still post family pictures. Most of my reels are my kids doing stuff, but I relate it. I'll put a little sales hook in there. I'll put a hook in there of, leading a sales team doesn't have to be like parenting, right? And so I'll build stuff in there. So learn to do that, and then you're not so restricted at what you can share.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You got it. Hey, was that a good question? She pulled a lot out of me, didn't she? I thought that was great. Good job. Okay, Amy.
Hey, Ray.
Hey.
So I'm trying to coach my team on getting clear on their ICA. And I know that was something that I really struggled with for quite a while in my business as well. But I feel like I'm finally speaking directly to the person that I meant to help. Do you have any points or tips on how I can coach my team on how they're going to get clear on their ICA?
Yeah. So for everyone, everyone uses different, what is the acronyms? For everyone in the audience, I know they're going to ask, what's ICA?
Ideal client avatar.
Yeah. So most people are unaware, but they're not playing to win. They're playing to prove they're going to lose. And so it is much more comfy to be confused than to move forward. And so we want to be very careful of how we talk about, target market, avatar, niche, any of that kind of stuff, because I've met so many people that they've been trying to figure that out for years. Now, in the meantime, they could have made money, they could have made sales, they could have made it happen, they could have maybe gotten halfway to their goal, but they didn't because they stayed in confusion land. And it's comfy in confusion land because then you can blame other people. Well, I just sure wish Amy would help me with my thing. She hasn't been able to come up with it, right? And so I would just encourage, I like John Maxwell's book. It's an older book, Failing Forward. So take your I do talk about this in Faith Driven Wealth. I talk about Anointed Brand, and I do believe that everyone has a particular type of person that if they serve that person, they would see escalation in God's favor. But you don't always get there right away. And I've found, even this morning, I had a major breakthrough. This man, since I think December 21st, maybe, I've had 3 major breakthroughs. That just rocked my world. That was just absolutely amazing. So many times I have felt like I'm called to go do this thing or go, how do I word this? That this is what I'm supposed to do. And I go to head in that direction only to realize that actually isn't the answer, but it got me to the answer. And so one of my favorite ways it's been described is my friend Dion. He says, sometimes you're on a mountain and God says, go to that mountain. And so you go down the mountain and then he says, make a left at the river. You're like, but you said to go to the mountain, right? Well, you couldn't see the river from that mountain. And so it's, so my advice when it comes to this specific thing is say, hey, I want you to pick your absolute best guess right now, not of what works, but of what do you actually want? Who do you actually want to work with? And there's 3 different schools of thought around this. You know, you have Simon Sinek says starts with why. I think that is a terrible advice for most people. I'm not saying not to have a why, but other people don't care about your why. They just don't care until like you're at a certain level. Then people's like, oh my God, fangirling. So telling someone to have a great why is usually not the best idea, because then they'll use it like a weird brute weapon on others. Like here's why I'm so righteous and why you should support me. And they're like, I'm more about me, bro. Like what's in it for me? And so why not the best? People like Rory Vaden and others, they say who, right? Pick the who, right? The ICA, pick the target market. I actually like Donald Miller more. I like his, what's the problem? What's the problem we're solving? Because the truth is that people never tire of hearing about their problems. My friend Ben Settle, he's one of the greatest copywriters living. He said, talk more about their crabgrass than your weed killer. Talk more about their problem than your solution. And so I like the problem. So I just looked at, what's like the, biggest problem that I'm able to solve for people. And I realize how many leaders sabotage because they have demanding, entitled reps. And I know how to solve that. I've done that for a lot of people. It's not that difficult. And afterwards, they feel free as a bird. And they no longer think that, with 10 times the team, I'm going to be burnt out. They no longer think that. That just exits their mind. And then they're free to just rock and roll, like just absolutely make it rain. And so I would say, if I'm giving advice to a group, I would say, I want you to take your best. Who do you think? What problem do you think? And I want you to start creating content for the next 30 days for that thing. And what'll happen is you'll either learn, this isn't the thing, which is great. One of the Proverbs, I forget which one, it says, in all labor, there's profit. It doesn't say in all thinking, there's profit. It says in all labor. And so it doesn't mean profit necessarily, it means growth. And so if I can get a rep to go do 30 days of creating content for a particular problem or person, they will get a hang of, this feels really good, or this is definitely not the way. And so, but we got to get them into action, not into thinking, because we'll stay safe in the library of our mind forever. It's real comfy up there. We got rich mahogany chairs, right? We'll just stay in the library because it's nice and comfy. It's nice and safe of us just overthinking target market and what works and all that stuff. Get into the streets, get into social media, start pumping out content that's imperfect, but is your best guess toward who you're serving, what problem you're solving. And that's going to help you get to the river. That's going to help you get to the actual answer. And that's something that even when I was myself, even when I was confused on who I'm serving, I never stopped creating content. Never did it. I just kept creating content. And now that I'm speaking so specifically to sales leaders who want high performance and less frustration, it's so easy. So easy. Like I'll come up with these sales hook. I'm like, damn, that's good. Leadership doesn't have to mean burnout. Like that just, I'm just like, ooh, it's just good. And so you can get to that, not in your mind, through your efforts, through the streets. Does that help? Yay. Awesome. Amy, give her a hand. Okay. We got Bonnie. What's happening? Yes. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
I have a question. So I think I talked to you once before about this, where I have the frequency devices that I'm going to be selling, and the main one, the scanner, not the that's the one I'm waiting.
The last Wait, what'd you say? The scanner, what now?
I have, frequency wellness device.
Okay.
The main device kind of tells people what they need to take care of their bodies, different things. That did not permit Albuquerque custom.
Okay.
So there's only 9 reps in the US because it's moved to the US. And my goal is going to be to create a team eventually once I have it.
Sure.
But it's like, I don't want to go and prospect for chiropractors when I have nothing to show them. You know what I mean? So what do I do in the meantime while I'm waiting? Like create content or did I?
Yeah, I mean, this is always kind of a tricky question. I have a client right now that I think January 15th or something, they have like whatever the company merging and everything. So they're kind of like, what do I do? Right. So combination of I would suggest a combination of 2 things. Okay. One, practical. What can I do right now? What can I sell? Can I sell, vitamin E? Like what can I sell that's still associated with the company, of course, but what can I sell right now to just have more eyeballs in so that when it lands, they're closer to the fire. So that's practical, right? The other suggestion would be, so I think my wife stole my book and I think she's on today. Hey, Jess.
When you're talking, like, I have a service that I can talk to people. Is that?
Sure. Yeah. When I say, what can you do right now? That's whatever, if it's service, then whatever, right? Whatever that means. And so what can I do right now? Because what I just don't like is let's either full out delay or let's only point to the future, because what happens, God forbid, what happens if it's February, March, April, May, June, July, right? And so, I've seen, a lot of people, they're waiting for, a crypto to hit, or they're waiting for, something, what was the one? Iraqi dinars, right? They're waiting on this event to happen. And so they focus all their efforts on this thing. But I would focus some. And the person that I like, the person's approach that I like the most for this kind of thing is Daniel Priestley. And so Daniel Priestley, he wrote a book called Oversubscribed. He does amazing YouTube content as well. And his whole concept is how do you position yourself, right? And so he talks about how do you create more demand than supply. So just full disclosure, and I see a couple on here. What's up, Rebecca? Hey. So full disclosure, as soon as I read that book, I'm like, I must do this. This must happen. And so that's just how I roll. When I learn something, I'm like, okay, how do we implement and execute this idea so that I really get it? Because I don't think you get stuff until you actually execute and implement. And so his concept very basically is create more demand than supply, right? Just whatever, and whatever it is that you do. And so some of the examples he used is there's a concert in Glasgow, I believe, and they, most people who sell events, they drip their nonsense every day. And we've done this. Like, hey, tickets are available. You want to buy a ticket, right? So we've done this. We'll never do it again, but we've done it where like every day we're like, hey, anyone want a ticket? Tickets here. And so he talks about how that's how most people promote events. But this whatever Glasgow, whatever event it is, they say, hey, tickets are going to open for 30 minutes on, January 3rd, and you got 30 minutes, whoever gets them, and we always sell out. And so they'll literally sell like 100,000 tickets, like, and they've built that over the years, right? To build that urgency, to build that, hey, listen, there's more demand than supply. So I hear this idea and I'm like, okay, how do I implement this? And so we came up with this concept called the Elite 8 experience. And I looked at what is my actual capacity to deliver world-class experience and results in the month of January. And I looked at my existing clients and my existing workload, and I figured I could probably do 8. about 8 people would probably be about the max for me to do an amazing, thing. And so we brought this up on a webinar. We had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people hit the application page. We picked 8, right? And so like I didn't reach out to all the hundreds. We picked 8. All 8 got excited to move forward. We start with them next week, Monday. I'm doing 3 other calls. And so what I did was created very obviously that there was more demand in the market than my supply. When a stock has more demand than supply, it increases. So why am I saying all this? So I would spend some time, probably more time, on the practical of what service can I sell right now, or what can I do right now to keep things moving forward, to get people closer to the fire so when the thing does come in. But also, I would create some kind of idea, and maybe it's an Elite 8, I don't know, where you're not going and saying, hey, we got this machine coming in, you'd be perfect for it, would you be interested? Like that kind of thing of, hey, we have an exclusive machine coming in and I'm going to work with 5 individuals. And these 5 individuals, here are the traits I'm looking for. Here's what they would need to commit to. So it's more of a qualification, not a pretty please. And so how do we get the perfect people when it does show up to move forward? And so that I would spend some time on that. Now, to do that, you have to first increase the signal, right? So you have to get the marketplace to respond to your signal of people saying, ooh, I want in. Then you're publicly telling the signal, hey, we've had hundreds of people apply for this, this is what we're looking for. And we're not, we're going to, be whittling it down here soon. If you'd like to learn more, go here and you can, see if you qualify. And so then, you make your choices, and those people that are chosen feel very special. And they're more likely to adhere to what it is you're looking for them to actually do. And so I wouldn't spend all the time on that, but I would spend some of the time, on that, especially in your situation.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You got it. Awesome. Good question. Good stuff. Okay. All right. So, all right, William. What's up, buddy? Oh, uh-oh. William, did I lose you?
Hey, I'm here.
Okay. Can you raise your hand again? Because I as soon as someone drops their hand, I'm like, where are they? And I have, okay, there we go. Right. Awesome. All right. What's up, buddy? Long time no see. I didn't know it was that William.
Yeah. Well, and I just wanted to hop on here real quick to say thank you for the training I got about 8-9 months ago. I was in the Wednesday Bible study, and he gave me focus on abilities, not disabilities. And it's taken me such a long time to like really lock into that.
Yeah.
And now that I'm at that stage and moving into the next one, I didn't know if maybe if this platform was appropriate enough to ask for a prayer on to see what my next moves are, because I'm just kind of like in this holding pattern. It feels like I'm just not sure which way to go, and I just could use an extra prayer.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. What what I've noticed is that slow learning is good learning. And I wish it wasn't that way, man. I really, really wish it wasn't that way. I look at, there's so many stories I want to share, but I don't know that I have the green light to do that. All right, give me 1 second. Let me pray about this. I mean, for some of us, I think that God gets us to a place of surrender to where, because I can very clearly look at some of my worst moments and even worse days were there to draw me in closer. And it was that closeness that got me the answer I'd been asking for. So you may have heard me share this one, but Matthew 5:3-4 in the Message Bible. Like, I really like this translation for this particular thing. I don't like it for everything, full disclosure, but Matthew 5:3-4 in the Message Bible says, "You're blessed when you're at the end of your rope. With less of you, there's more of God and his rule. You're blessed when you feel you've lost what is most dear to you. Only then can you be embraced by the one most dear to you." And so on my most confusing days, and I'll tell you, I had a confusing day yesterday. You know, I had some different things that were frustrating me, and I had a confusing day. And, you know, I was just nudged to have a conversation with my wife this morning, had that conversation, and had a major breakthrough. And I realized it's actually what prompted me to post on Facebook this morning is I realized that there was still a piece of me that thought some parts of my life had to be hard. Because I just do hard things. So give you an example. You know, I love boxing. And so I started about I don't know, a month ago, maybe. I started like, okay, I'm gonna get in good boxing shape. And so I have these 3-pound gloves, right? They're 3 pounds each. Okay. Pretty heavy. And so I started with 5 rounds of 1 minute each of me punching. I'm now to 10 rounds of 3 minutes punching. That's a lot of punching. That's a lot of strength in your shoulders with 3-pound weights on each hand, right? And so and I know, I mean, my shoulders will scream, and I'm just like, I ain't stopping. I'm not stopping. This is a mindset thing. Not stopping. And so, like, I do hard things, and I it's like I seek hard things, and but the truth is, God doesn't want everything hard for you, man. You know, I think it's, what is it, Proverbs 10, I think 22. The blessing of the Lord makes one rich; he adds no toil with it. So, you know, everything doesn't have to be hard. And so that was a lesson that he delivered to me in such a unique and powerful way this morning. And so just there are so many times where I'm like, Lord, is there something I'm supposed to know differently? Is there, you got something to tell me? Am I ready? I ask all these questions, and I just wasn't ready for the answer until today. And so just, Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added unto you. And I just think, keep seeking him and his wisdom, keep seeking wisdom around it, and surrendering, and watch what he does. There are 2 things that help kind of keep me on the guide rails that I do every day. Rebecca, it's Matthew 5:3-4 in the Message Bible. Okay, so there's 2 things that I do. One's one a week and one's every day to keep me kind of on the guardrails, right? And so every morning I pray, okay, Lord, what are you praying for me today? And I'll always get some days it's, you have a great day. That's what I'll get. Some days that's big and profitable. All right. That's a good word, right? I'll take it. And so then I've learned to ask, okay, Lord, what do I need to do for that to happen? And some days, nothing. Some days, this process is actually what led me to the 9, I guess. I thought it was 9 reels a day on Instagram. And it's led me to other, practices, as I was just nudged to go and do that in my prayer. The other thing that I do every week is every Monday, I do a business journal where I take everything I'm involved in, personal, business, family, everything, and I ask, Lord, what are you doing? And that is what has freed me from a lot of things that I didn't need to be a part of. You know, because there were things that I thought, oh, you know, I must have to do this, and no. I'm like, do you want me to be part of it? And so I learn, what are you doing every week? Like, what are the broad scheme? You know, what are you doing here? And then on a daily scheme, okay, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing? And so I do constantly pray for, you know, what am I doing? But that's not the only prayer. I want to know what he's doing too.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I heard you say that before. And I guess like, because I've been in that space of just trying to control my own direction, that has eluded my ears for so long. And so now that I've been working on surrendering and putting aside my preferences, maybe now is a good time to start practicing that direction.
Yeah. And there's so many things that have gone against my logic, right? Or going against my emotions. And so one of them, you know, I remember one Saturday, I'm in prayer and so at the time I had a sales rep for our company, and we were paying her $10,000 a month plus commissions. Okay. Pretty nice. Not bad. And so I get, you need to take her off salary. Okay. So just remove the $10,000 a month I've been paying for, you know, well over a year, maybe 2 years. And so I'm like, ooh, that's not going to go well. Right. I mean, who in their right mind would think that would go well? Right. No one thinks that. Oh yeah, she'll love that. Can't wait. And so I'm like, Lord, does it have to be today? Yes. This is not going to go well. And so I call her and I said, hey, how are you doing? And I said, hey, you know, I've been thinking about it, and you know, I think we need to pull you off of salary. And she's like, why? Was something I did? No, you're doing a great job, but I just think with the company and we need to do this. I mean, make some changes, And so I do it. It doesn't feel great, but it didn't go as bad as I thought. An hour later, she calls me and she goes, I just want to say thank you. I'm like, what's that? She goes, I want to say thank you. I'm like, what? And she said, you know, I have some other projects that I have wanted to be a part of, but I've turned down because you're paying me so much. And honestly, you know, I just, some months I really wondered, should I even be making this much in salary? And thank you. See, I wouldn't have known that. And so I think a lot of times we're like, all right, Lord, I'll do whatever you say, as long as it's logical.
Yeah.
As long as I agree with it, as long as it makes sense. Well, a lot of stuff he's had me do does not make sense. It doesn't until it did. And so, you know, I would just, you know, look for that. I think he loves bold obedience. And I do think obedience, you know, when it doesn't make sense, you know, like one of the lines that doesn't make any sense to me until you read the book of Hebrews is, you know, Abraham is told to go sacrifice his son. And the next line is, early the next morning he arose. I might sleep in. I might struggle to get out of bed on that day. But no, early the next morning he arose. And then in the book of Hebrews, it says, well, he just thought he'd already made promises, so he just assumed he'd resurrect him. Oh, wow. That's quite a man of faith. And so I would just, you know, one of the questions I ask every morning is, Lord, how can I walk in my faith today? And anytime he's given me an answer, he doesn't give me an answer all the time. In fact, I don't remember the last time he gave me one. It's been a while, been a few months. But anyone he ever gave me made me very nervous. One of them, he had me reach out to someone I used to mentor who had actively been bashing me on social media. He said, I want you to reach out to her and I want you to talk to her about Jesus. And I'm like, oh my God, really? Like, oh man, seriously? And so I reach out, I'm like, hey, can you jump on a call? Yeah. And we get on the call and she accepts Christ. And so, you know, how can I walk in my faith today? What are you doing? What should I be doing? And, you know, just look for what are the things that don't make any sense to me, but might be what he's calling me to do.
And when you say that, it almost feels like in my personal life, it's people like maybe the direction I'm trying to help people in is not people with control issues, but coherence issues. And that's that logical piece. Like we're not trying to control the situation. It's just logic doesn't line up. And so we have a coherence problem, and that's why we fight the system.
I think he wants you to solve that for you first.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. That first
Yeah.
step.
Yeah.
So,
Because that's at least that's what I noticed with me is he will have me often painfully, and often it takes much longer than I wanted, but he has me overcome a thing, and that is the equipping to go and help other people with that thing. And so, yeah. So
okay,
very good.
awesome.
All right,
Thank you
man.
so much.
You got it, man. Happy New Year. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, guys. One more time here. If you are not sure what to do to grow your business, not sure what to say, need more of a roadmap and help along the way, I would encourage you join our Lifer program next Friday at noon Eastern. We're going to do a goal and vision crushing training. It's going to be live. I'm going to be on there with lifers only, and then also once a month we do lifer only group coaching sessions. But check it out. One price for the life of the program. Pretty good deal. We spoil you. And that's at higdongroup.com/lifer. So I appreciate you so very much. God bless you guys. I am rooting for you in 2026. We want you to be the absolute hero of your stories, and can't wait to keep helping you. All right. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day and a great weekend. Bye. Oh, and go Hoosiers. Woo. Bye, guys.